Hey y'all, we're Brandon and Megan Giggling, and we give real talk and real solutions to help you get from where you are to where you want to be.
Whether you are on step 1 or years into your own personal growth journey, we've got the tools you need to level up.
So if you want to stop making excuses, start taking action, and grow into the person you are meant to be, then pop in your headphones and let's do this.
You ready?
This is the Fools in Love podcast. Well, hello there.
What's up?
It is the holiday season, y'all. And I mean, I think it's only appropriate to start out on the right foot, but man, it's December already. How did we get here in 2021? Like, how are we in December? In a lot of ways, it's flown by. In a lot of ways, it's been crawling by. We've talked about before, this season of 2021 as an entire year has been quite the process for us. I don't know how it's affected y'all, but man, we made it to December. That's all I can say. We made it to December. And as I said, maybe I didn't say, but the holiday season is upon us. And I love how people say that, like that it's upon us. Because I don't know about y'all, but I have kind of like a love-hate relationship with the holidays. I mean, I don't fully hate it, I should say.
Oh, okay. I want to hear this.
Okay, so when I think about the holiday, I'm always really excited about it. And there's a lot of really good parts. There's a lot of really joyful parts. Obviously, Jesus is the reason for the season, y'all. Like, I love it. I love giving my kids presents. I love the times we get to spend together. A few extra days off here and there. But then, like, when the holidays come, it seems like for this whole month, there's just a lot of things to do. Mm-hmm. Our calendar's filling up in a way that, look, y'all, we don't have our calendar ever filled up. Our calendar's filled up in a way. Me and Meg have already been having conversations about the gifts that we have to buy, the things we have to do, the people we have to remember, the play at our daughter's school or the little concert that they have. There's our Christmas party for work. There's all these different things where we're trying to like figure them out and facilitate all of these things while also remaining joyful and happy and upbeat, while also interacting with everyone else in the world who's trying to get their whole to-do list done and try to fit you into their schedule or try to coordinate with you or try to figure out their plans completely separate from you, complete strangers on the street. And we just went to Target. And I mean, it was insanity. And the thing is, everyone's trying to do those things. So that's why I say it's kind of like a love-hate relationship, because although I love the holiday and it can be very joyful, it can also be really stressful if we allow it to.
Amen, brother. Okay, but before we jump into today's episode, which is actually the Holiday Survival Guide, we are going to let you know about a cool little thing coming up for us in January. So on is it January 11th, B? Yes, I'm so good. It's January 11th. On January 11th, you guys, we are running the Crush Your Goals Boot Camp. What is that? Well, so glad you asked. It's
I don't think they did.
They did. They totally did. It's a 3-day boot camp designed to be a virtual experience for you where we teach you, we go all in, we map out the way to crush your 2022 goals and beyond, quite frankly, because once you learn how to do this, you will just know how to do it for any goal that you ever try to meet. And it's really attacking how to get past all the obstacles that inevitably come, because that's where we get tripped up, right? I mean, that's the issue. It's not like you don't set your goal. It's like you set it and then you give up. You just get tripped up, screwed up, messed up, and that's it. You give up way too early. So we are going to help you stop that, and that's going to start on January 11th.
Yep, and it'll run from January 11th through the 13th. Like Megan said, we're super excited about this. You can head over to growthjumpstart.com and just check out a little bit more. But in the spirit of giving, this is a great gift to give anyone who you know might be struggling, who you might be taking on a new goal, maybe a gift to yourself this season to make sure you're starting 2022 off on the right foot. Because like Meg said, it's very difficult. I know for us, it's really, really hard thing to do. Even when we're so disciplined in it, it can be really challenging. And I know statistically, in the first few weeks of the new year is when you fall off of your resolutions, which is exactly why we put this boot camp where it is. We want you to come in and start the new year off right. We want to come alongside you and allow that accountability. I know it's like really awesome to listen to us every week. I'm speaking for you guys here. But how much cooler would it be if we could be literally face to face on a Zoom call, talking through all these things, getting training, answering your questions in real time? This is invaluable for y'all, and I think it'd be a great experience. We're super excited about it. So check out, again, growthjumpstart.com for all the deets. And let's get into this holiday survival guide, because like we said, man, this is a stressful time, and we want to talk to y'all a little bit about how we get through it.
Yeah. So one of the things that we've tried to implement, and I think we do a pretty decently good job. Is that what I want to say?
A decently good job.
A decently good job. Yeah. Thank you. A decently good job at it is kind of like lowering the number of things that we actually try to put in the season. So for us, I would say probably try like a 3 to 5 thing limit on yourself. Like that's the big thing, the holiday thing that you want to do. So for us, like an example would be that we want to take the kids and we go as a family to the Nutcracker. And that's just one of the things we like to do. And another thing we always do every year is we go to my mom and stepdad's house and we make Christmas cookies. We bake them, we decorate them. That's just been like a non-negotiable for us. So the non-negotiables, there's probably a few of them for you too. Those things go on the calendar and they don't come off no matter how crazy the season gets. Pick the things that you really love to do, because that's where the joy is. That's where a lot of the happiness and the good feelings come from, and help the stress, frankly, melt away a little bit.
Yeah, and it's much like any other time. I mean, you have to prioritize the things that are most important. And as you say 3 to 5 things, I can hear people's anxiety like coming up already of, well, you don't know all the things that I have to do and all the people that I have to see, because somehow y'all in the holiday, we all of a sudden have 10,000 people that we need to see and make plans with, which we've never prioritized any other time in the year. But somehow in the holiday, we feel like it's a must. I don't know if we're trying to get it in before the end of the year or not. But look, the holidays are very challenging. And what I really found in our own life is when we didn't do this, when we didn't prioritize the 3 or 5 things like you've talked about, I couldn't find enjoyment in those things when we were doing them. Like I'm talking about the things I really wanted to do, because I was so overscheduled and over inundated with all the other things that I was trying to do, that when it got to the point where I was doing these 3 to 5 things, I was either thinking about or planning those things or what I needed to do, or I was so exhausted from the to-do list and all the things I needed to do that I couldn't even fully enjoy it. And that's one of the reasons why this is probably one of the top things. It's number 1 on the list because I know it's the most challenging for y'all. And I also know it's the most important, because you want to be able to show up in a way that you can really enjoy the season and really enjoy the people that are most important. All those other people, cool to have those plans. Not saying don't do that, but don't let it step over your priorities, which are these 3 to 5 things.
Yeah, and I love that you said that too, because it's not like we're saying if you have extra time, don't do those things. Of course, add extra things in. But we just want you to find time, especially for those things that mean the most for you, and your spouse or your family, whatever, whoever. It doesn't really matter. What matters is that you have the ability to spend that time doing it how you want to do it, and then add the other stuff in, sprinkle it in where it fits.
That's right. And I'm laughing. I literally was just like laughing in my head because I'm looking at number 2 here, and I know this is the hardest thing for everyone out there. And I know we're going to get the most pushback on it, because we always do, because it is the reality that you have to say no. And the reason you have to say no is for your own sanity. Look, we just touched on it. You need to have the 3 to 5 things. You need to have things that are prioritized to be the most important. But also, like, you have to understand that there are limits. You only have so much time in a day, and you only can fit so many things in. And you can either run yourself ragged trying to get through the list, or you can break some people's hearts and say no. And trust me, they might invite you to something. They might even be a little bit perturbed that you're not showing up. But guess what? They'll somehow figure out a way to have a holiday, to do a thing, to have a party, to make cookies, whatever it is. I mean, I don't know what it is for y'all. They'll find a way to make it through their holiday without you.
They can really carry on without them.
Yes, it's amazing. But that's the thing too, because I know why we're going to get the most kickback on this, because we were this way forever. Mm-hmm. It's something that we felt like we had to do. Well, you don't understand. I have to do it. And that was me. Those were my words. Well, we have to do it because we have to see your family. We have to see my family. We used to always visit Michigan every year. And it's like we had to see every person that we didn't see any other time during that time and make time for all of it. And by the end of it, we were exhausted. But I know people believe that they have to say yes because they don't, a no to them means they're selfish. because of the vibe that people give. When you say no and it's going against what they have planned for your life, they don't like it. And it's something that they're just going to have to get comfortable with. And as we always say, self-care is not selfish. And this is part of self-care. This is part of prioritizing what's best for you and your family. So sometimes you got to say no just to stop from going completely insane during this time.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so one thing that I am a very, very strong supporter of is watching and listening to happy things at this time of the year. So it's not like I'm not a fan of this at the other times of the year, but just especially during the Christmas season, I find that I want to even more so enjoy the things that make me happy. So I want to watch, listen to, read all the happy Christmas vibes, and I want to listen to the music, and I want to watch the dumb Hallmark movies, and I want to read the cheesy, chick-lit, Christmassy themed books, because quite frankly, there's enough madness and sadness in this world, and I just want to feel uplifted and upbeat and happy. And I think that if my mood's in a better place because of what I'm taking in, then I can then push that back out to those around me. So if I'm feeling good inside, if I'm feeling happy inside, I think that it helps me show up better for them too. So,
it's amazing too, because I used to be so against this. I used to say, those Hallmark movies are so cheesy. Like that acting is so bad. I mean, you could literally call the story from the moment it comes on. And man, you'd have to be. I used to say this.
I didn't argue against this, by the way. I totally understand what he's saying.
No, and I just want to paint the picture here. I used to be the guy that was like, Santa kills a reindeer every time you put your Christmas decorations up before Thanksgiving. Like I used to say things like that because I used to be so against really pushing this, and with the idea that somehow by the end of December you'd be so sick of all of it that you didn't even want to do it. But to Meg's point, I've come around in the last 2 years because I've realized several things, and one of them is what you just touched on. The fact that this season's about joy. This season's about happiness. So why would I surround myself with things that aren't going to make me joyful or happy? You see, the reality is we're all dealing with the holiday stress. We're all dealing with a little heaviness. We all have 1,000 things on our mind right now. So why not allow yourself to unplug? And I've really come to appreciate, y'all, and this is first maybe some of the men out there too, maybe even some of the women, I've come to appreciate the cheesy Hallmark movie, the cheesy Lifetime movie, because it's joyful, because I know what to expect, because there's not stress or drama. Well, maybe at the peak of the story, when somehow they're not going to end up together, and then they eventually do, and that is a little anxious-ridden. That gives me a little anxiety. But for the most part, you know what to expect. It's the happy lights. It's the joy. It's the excitement. It's all those things. And maybe you get a little Jana Kramer too, and I love it. But
he does love his Jana Kramer.
But really, like Meg said, it's about the happy things. So don't overthink it. Just do it.
Yeah. And another one that's really been important for us is just getting time outdoors or time to exercise, those kind of self-care things, and just being able to have those moments. So on Thanksgiving morning, I actually was able to sneak away for a little run, and so was Brandon separately. And just having that time outdoors and that time to just be apart was really invigorating and quite lovely. And I haven't been able to do it. I haven't been able to run outdoors that much lately because it gets dark so early. So just having that was really life-giving to me. And also, I mean, in the indoors, I've just been using a treadmill, which is slightly less life-giving, but still it is exercise. So it is a coping mechanism for me for the holiday stress because I need to run or else I am just a very anxious, messy, icky person to be around.
Yeah, and the thing is, too, I understand that, a lot of people, we used to live in Michigan. I get it. It's freezing cold. It might be snowy. But there's still a reason to get outside. There's still a reason to be outside. Maybe bundle up. Last night, me and the kids just went out. I had put Christmas lights outside on our shed. And we just turned some lights on, bundled up in our coats, went outside and ran around and played. And it made such a difference for them. And it made such a difference for me. And you recently gave me permission to go out, or you actually forced me, honestly, to go out and take some time for self-care and go walk on a trail when I wanted to.
And it's not like I had previously not been allowing it. It's just he hadn't been asking.
No, but you made me realize that it does make a difference for me. So it's something that I should be allowed to do and something I should be able to give myself the opportunity to do. Not that you wouldn't even allow it, just that I have to be willing to give myself the opportunity to unplug and do that. In case in point, tonight, we're going to go on a walk with our kids. We're going to take them with us because guess what? If time outside is good for me and you, then clearly it's good for them as well. So why don't we do that? Who knows? Because we don't know how it'll go, because we're perceiving how it'll go.
Well, they'll be annoying and they'll be irritated and they'll complain about being cold and hungry and blah, blah, blah. So we won't go. But we've never actually tried to go with them.
Right. But practically it's this. Go outside for a 10-minute walk. Walk around your building during the day at work if you just need some time outside. Go out, drive around and look for Christmas lights. Just do something where you're out and about, because we can be all cooped up in this time. And a lot of that can cause a lot of people a lot of depression. But get yourself out amongst, society and enjoy it a little bit more.
Absolutely. And this next one kind of goes along, to me at least, with saying no for your sanity, but it's a little bit different because this one is just simply to rest. And I think that we miss that this time of year. We miss it all year long, honestly, but I think that this time of year it's even harder because there's extra things on our to-do list. So any spare second that we could be resting is well, no, I gotta get online and shop for, grandpa and grandma and all these extra people that we have to get things done for, or I've got to go up to the store and get these ingredients for this dessert that I have to make for Christmas. There's always another random little chore to be done, especially at this time of the year. And so for us, just being able to focus on, even if it's 10 minutes here and there, it doesn't matter. Just focusing on being able to get a little bit of rest in so that you're not so overwhelmed and anxious throughout this time that's supposed to be full of merriment.
Yeah, and it's something that I have to, again, sometimes I have to force myself to do it. I have to force myself to rest with the understanding that it's just as important as everything else that I have to do, because I'm going to show up terribly to everything else that I need to do if I'm not well rested and feeling okay. And again, I have to remind myself out loud that it is okay for me to do this, because I'm going to show up as a better person by taking this time for myself, or just taking the time as a family to lay in our bed and relax, or whatever it is. The next thing we do, and again, y'all, this is the first week of December. You still have time. You still have time. But it's getting your shopping done now. Getting your shopping done early. I know a lot of people like to procrastinate, and some people honestly get a high off of the fact that they're doing it right before the season. And you like to get out amongst people. But if this time has taught us anything, it's how easy it is to just order things online, to go on to Amazon, go on to Target, go on wherever, and get your shopping done early. Because we've done that for the past handful of years, and by the time Christmas comes, we're not even thinking about it. Well, we are thinking about wrapping it, but we could also prioritize that, and we've tried to get better about planning that. But the earlier you can do it and the more you can get done, knowing that week of Christmas, that 2 weeks leading into Christmas, is just going to be chaos no matter how much planning you do, take the lowest hanging fruit off of that and get these gifts done. Get the wrapping done. Don't have to wait till the last minute to do all that. You can do it now and then save yourself that craziness later.
Yeah, the more prepared you can be in any area really is just going to help you feel more calm and more relaxed about it and help you enjoy the current time more. If I'm not sitting around worrying about the shopping that I have to do, then I can be present in the moment and actually enjoy myself. So we've definitely been working on that one for a couple of years now, and it's made a huge difference. The next is to avoid hot topics during your family get-togethers. Now, if arguing is your thing, of course, then you can just totally ignore this one. But for most of us, I think we should probably keep the politics, keep the vaccine or not situation, all these things kind of off the plate, so to speak, for our holiday meals and get-togethers, because it's just going to add a little bit of tension and not so good feels to our time together as a family. And I don't know about you, but I would much rather have time with my family that I enjoy rather than than sitting around arguing or bringing up things where somebody else might have a different opinion than I do. And I just don't want to spend time thinking about this person is so wrong, or here's why I'm right, or trying to justify it in my brain or even out loud. So for us, I think it's just probably safer that we just avoid it at all costs.
Yeah, and the thing is, too, even if you have the same opinions on a lot of the things, these hot topics are just going to lead you down an avenue of stress, anxiety, and worry. Oh,
yeah, because then you can, even on the same side, you can be like, oh, yeah, and the other side thinks this, and this, and you're still working up your heart rate and getting all in.
Correct. Yeah, you're just worrying about it for no reason. And like Meg said, you're not really enjoying the time together. If these are people that you prioritize to see, that you made time to see, that you want to get together with, that you want to enjoy and celebrate with, then why are we even talking about this stuff? Let's just keep it to, lighter, low-key things and just enjoy the experience together.
Mm-hmm. And lastly, we want to remind you to just ignore the small stuff. So there might be a comment or two from a well-meaning relative, or there might be your kids misbehaving just a tiny bit at a family get-together. But all these little tiny things that don't really matter so much in the grand scheme, let them roll off your back. I get that it might not be easy to do it, but just sometimes it's just going to be better for everyone involved to ignore some of the smaller things. It doesn't mean that you can ignore big things, or it doesn't mean to let yourself be mistreated, but just when there are things that you can just kind of let roll, just let them roll and enjoy your day instead.
Exactly. Or, hey, you forgot a Christmas card. You didn't wrap a gift in time. You forgot to invite someone to the party. You didn't get invited to the party. A million different things. If this season should teach us anything, it's to give grace, not only to everyone else, but to yourself. Make sure that you're not being too hard on yourself right now. You do have a lot on your plate. We all do right now. Don't allow yourself just to bring yourself down because you're not, the number one mom or the number one dad or the number one sibling or the number one partner during this time. We're all doing the best we can do. And sometimes we just need to hear that and allow ourselves some grace.
We hope you guys have a really, really great holiday season, and we can't wait to keep chatting with you on this podcast throughout the whole thing. Make sure to check out growthjumpstart.com, and we'll see you next week.
We love y'all. Thank y'all so much for listening.
Make sure to hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode.
And if you want to be our BFFs, leave us a review. It helps more people find the show and allows us to share our message with the world.
We love y'all.